ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ सप्तमोऽध्यायः। I concluded my last video with the 23rd sloka of chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan Krishna said that when we worship that finite form or that lower form of worship, then we will merge with one only with that finite form. But when we worship that infinite form, then we will merge in that infinity. And that's why the lower forms of worship or the lower way of worship is not preferred by Bhagavan Krishna. But at the same time, the Saguna Brahma worship is the epitome of bhakti. When can reach the height of bhakti by Saguna Brahman only, worshipping the Saguna Brahman. Many people they see the form of Bhagavan which they worship either mentally or Bhagavan in that form or in any other form. They come to the bhaktas when they are in distress and help them or talk with them or come in their dreams. All these are not illusion or all these not imagination. All these are a true reality. But what Bhagavan Krishna says is one has to overcome this, pass over this, and then only we can merge with the infinite. Just like what happened to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So just like that, we have to go beyond the Saguna way of worship. And in the next shloka, that is in shloka 24, chapter 7, Bhagavan Krishna tell about his para prakriti, that is his nature, that para nature, supreme nature. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayah param bhavamajanantah mamavyayamanuttama. Bhagavan Krishna is telling avyakta, that is, I am not manifest, that is unmanifest, not clear, cannot be comprehended, not knowing all this. That is my avyakta form, unmanifest form, that is the reality. But the people think that I am manifest. Even though my reality is that unmanifest nature, many people think that I am manifest. That is, I have a form and I am that form alone. They do not think of me beyond that. If we do not read this Bhagavad Gita, we also will be of that same type. We think that Bhagavan is that form alone. We do not know to think beyond that. But Bhagavan is telling the reality is beyond that. It is avyakta. It is not manifest. It is not that form alone. Manyante, mama, buddhaya. Who think like that? People who are foolish. That is people who believe in Maya. People who believe that the form is the ultimate. They think that I am manifest, but actually I am avyakta, I am unmanifest. Param bhavam, my supreme nature is ajananta. No one knows it. Without knowing my supreme nature, they think that I am that form alone. Mama avyayam anuttamam. I am actually immutable. They do not know my immutable nature, imperishable nature. If we have worshipped that form, then when it is gross or when we have that form, one day or other it is perishable. But that which cannot be perished, that is Bhagavan. So he cannot be that form alone. He is that form, but he is beyond that form alone. That one has to think. Mama avyayam anuttamam. They do not know my imperishable nature or my most excellent nature. They do not know. So they think that I am manifest. That is, I have form. They think they do not think beyond that. Bhagavan Krishna is telling this. And in the next shloka, shloka 25, chapter 7, Bhagavan Krishna says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrudaha mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajamavyayam. Naham prakasha sarvasya. I do not make myself clear to all. Because of that, what happens? Yoga Maya Samavritaka. They are deluded by my Yoga Maya. All the people, many of the bhaktas, they are deluded by the Maya of Bhagavan. He is beyond all this that many people do not know, and he's telling, I will not make that point clear for all. And many people are deluded that reality is veiled by Yoga Maya. Mudhoyam nabi janadi, the people who are deluded, they do not know Mam, Ajam, unborn, Avyayam, imperishable. They do not know me that I am unborn and imperishable. Many people who believe in the incarnations, the avatars of Bhagavan, that they think that that's the end of it. They do not know their para prakriti. They do not know their supreme nature. So Bhagavan doesn't make clear that point for everyone, because the point is it's not out of partiality like what the school teacher do. They like the students who study well, they ignore the students who doesn't study well. Actually, a teacher is needed for a student who doesn't study well, but they do not care for that, and they have that favoritism or partiality. Bhagavan is not like that. Why he is telling this is, when we connect with Bhagavan constantly, regular practice, then that he becomes clear to us. Even in materialistic life, when we practice, as I said earlier, when we practice any art or any instrument, every day if we practice for long hours, then we know about that instrument or art more than anyone else, isn't it? That instrument itself will teach us how to play. We connect with that instrument, and we everything about that instrument will be clear to us. Just like that, when we connect with Bhagavan constantly, one pointed devotion with full concentration, then that concept becomes clear to us. He makes himself clear to us. He reveals himself, because Bhagavan is our antaratma. When we connect with ourselves, then it becomes clear. So it's out of that Bhagavan Krishna is telling, I do not make myself clear to all. That is, Prakasha means actually light, or he makes us understand, or it also means manifest. I do not manifest to all. That is, I do not make clear my supreme nature to all. They are still veiled by that Yoga Maya. The people who are deluded by my Maya, they who think that my Maya is the reality, they do not know me. Nabi janati loko mam ajam avyayam. They do not know that I am unborn and immutable, that is imperishable. Bhagavan Krishna again says, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna भविष्याणि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन. Vedaham, I know. Samatidhani, that is, I know the past. Vartamanani, present. Bhavishyani, future of what? Sarvabhutani, of all beings. Because when we think or when we perform an action, that action or that thought is impressed in Bhagavan only, in the pure consciousness. The yogis tell that as chit. Vedantis tell that as chitta or mind stuff, and the psychologists tell that as memory. Whatever it be, when a thought arises in the mind that is impressed in pure consciousness, that is none other than Bhagavan. So he knows about all the impressions in this creation. We know about only our consciousness is limited, our awareness is limited because of our ahankara. So we may not be able to know that infinity. But Bhagavan, he is well aware of that, and so he knows the past, present, and future of all the beings, and everything is so fresh in his mind always. Even we do not remember our past. Many people, we are not that aware of our past. We may know, but we have forgotten so many things, and we do not know about future, and we do not know our present also. That's why so much of confusion. We refuse to be in the present, and so we always worry for the future or what happened in the past. It boomerangs between the past and the future. But Bhagavan, he is well aware of the past of all beings, the present of all beings, and what his bhavishya will be, the future. He's well aware of that. And another thing also he says, Mam tu Vedana kaschana, no one knows me. Because our mind is in Bhava. Our mind exists in that supreme consciousness. So beyond that mind, we do not know. But Bhagavan, he is very aware, well aware of all this. We do not know him, but he knows everyone. So that's the secret Bhagavan is telling in this shloka, 26th shloka. The next shloka is Icha Dvesha Samuthena Dvandva Mohena Bharata Sarva Bhutani Sammoham Sarge Yanti Parantapa. Icha, dvesha. Icha means desire, dvesha means hatred. Because of that arises dvanta moha. Because of that, the opposites arise, and we are deluded by that. Opposites means in the opposites, dualities of nature, we say the heat and cold that is related to our physical body, pain and pleasure, physical body, happiness and joy, misery, mind level, mental level, then what to say, happiness and misery, sorrow and happiness, honor and dishonor, intellectual level. Someone will slander us and someone will praise us. That is also intellectual level. So, for different levels, we have the dualities, opposites. And from where does this opposites arise? It's because of the desires. When we have desires, automatically we will have something to hate also. If I like something, then definitely I may dislike something else. Not only that, my likes in the any object will not be the same for others. I may like sweet objects. I may like the taste sweetness, but someone else they like only the sour taste. So it differs. I may like one color, the others may like one color. So if I have likes, then definitely there will be dislikes also. So where did this come from? Sarva Bhudani Sammoham Sarge. Sarge, from the birth itself it's coming. Yes, true. Even when they are we are infants, if we see the infant, we can realize that even that small child, small infant, if we give some food in its mouth, some they taste, some they just turn their head, isn't it? They just don't accept it. They just don't get it at all. That's the problem with all the children. That they just refuse food. They just don't like any taste. Some children they like at least like the sweet taste. Some they don't. So it's coming from the birth itself. Sadhye yanti parantava. It's coming from the beginning, from the time of birth itself. This duality is the opposites. So if it's coming from the birth itself means then definitely it's coming from the previous janma, papa punya. So that also Bhagavan Krishna says, Yesham tvantakadam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvantva moha nirmuktaha bhajante mam trudavrataha. Yesham tva antagadam. Antagadam means that is the end of all the papas. What is the end for all the papas? Jananam punya karmanam. A person who brings all his papa karmas to an end by doing punya karma, for them dvandva moha nirmuktaha. So they are free from these opposites. The people who get rid of their sins by doing punya karma, they get rid of papa. Antakatam papa, they come bring an end to their papas by doing punya karma. For them, they are not deluded by these opposites or their dualities. Bhajante mam dradavrata, and those people, they worship me, have steadfast devotion in me. So for that peoples, for the true bhaktas of Bhagavan, they are not deluded by the opposites of nature. Or otherwise, we will always be deluded by the opposites. And what is so big thing about the opposites? Why is Bhagavan Krishna giving so much importance for these dualities? Because if we have that duality in our mind, then we will not understand the reality. We will fail to understand the Bhagavan as ourself and He is all pervading. We have these dualities because of this ego, ahankara. That's why I said the likes of myself is not the same as the likes of others. I may like one color, so that is individuality. The other person may like another color. They may have like another color. So their individuality, according to their individuality, the likes and the dislikes change. So when we have that powerful individual consciousness, then we cannot know the infinite. So we have to shed that individual consciousness. That's why Bhagavan Krishna is telling, Pabham Antagatam, that is bringing an end to the papa by doing punya karmas, then our consciousness expands, our mind expands, and we will not be attached to the dualities of nature. We will be free from that opposites. And the people, they worship me, they have steadfast devotion in me, they attain to that stage. And in the next shloka, that is the shloka 28, shloka 29, Bhagavan Krishna is telling, Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashritya Yatanti Te Brahma Tadviduh Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Those people, they are free from Jara Marana Mokshaya. Jara means old age, Marana means death. They are free from death. That is, people who have steadfast devotion in me. They shed this nature of this dualities. They do not realize that because they are always united with me. That is why when we go to the Himalayas or any religious places, some yogis, they may not know what is happening around them. So they are so much attached with Bhagavan, their own self. So they are free from such people, they are free from old age and death. They are not concerned about death or old age. Mama Shritya, they depend on me, they take refuge in me, they strive for liberation and they take refuge in me. Te Brahma Tadvidhu Kritsnam. That is, they know Brahman as whole, in whole. They know Brahman completely. Krishna means the whole. They know Brahman completely. Adhyatmam, they know their own self. Karmam cha achilam, they know their own self. They know the karmas, all the karmas. They know all the karmas, all the actions. They know their self and they know Brahman completely. That is, they have this Atma Jnana, they have Brahma Vidya. That is, in short, Bhagavan Krishna is explaining it, but in short, they have this Brahma Jnana. So, if we have Brahma Jnana and where we are, when we are very conscious about our own self and not conscious about the body or the mind, or not I do not identify with the body and mind, then even when the time comes to leave this body, we are not concerned by it. Just it is just like leaving our shoes outside and going inside. Just it's so simple as that. Bhagavan Krishna is telling. साधिभूताधिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विधुर्युक्तचेतसः. In this shloka, Bhagavan Krishna is telling about the mind of the person who meets the end of life. Sa adhibhudam, one who know me as the all the elements, that is in the materialistic level. When we know Bhagavan as all this, all these elements, so adhidhaivam means adhidhaiva means all the gods, one who know me as all the gods, that is in the next celestial level. When a person know me as all these elements in this prithvi, as all the gods, and sa adi yajnam, there is one who know me as this all the sacrifices. Bhagavan Krishna has already said that even when you perform a sacrifice for one deity or different deities, it is me who accept or receive the offerings of that yajna. So, to whatever Bhagavan we do yajna, it is Bhagavan Krishna who received that offerings. And if we know me as all the yajna, that is first the materialistic world. If we know Bhagavan as all this, then the celestial plane. Now, the sacrifice, the realm of sacrifice, if we know him as all this, then prayana kalebi, at the time of death or at the time of final depart from this body, bhamte vidur yukta chedasaha. Vidur yukta chedasaha means they know me or remember me in their mind. That's what every Bhagavad Gita says. What you remember in the end, you become that. So if we remember Bhagavan in the end, at that final moment, then we merge with Bhagavan. Many people think it's only the final moment, so what now itself? But it's a regular practice. Only when we have practice, we can think of Bhagavan in the end. For example, hours and hours of practice we do to perform, to give a stage performance. So just like that, we have to connect with Bhagavan regularly, constantly, very deeply, one-pointed devotion towards Bhagavan, continuously throughout the life. Only then that thought will come to us in the mind in the end, or otherwise the thought of so many problems we have faced, the thought of the children, the thought of the property, the thought of what will happen to me next, some fear will grip us in the last moment. But when we have practiced it, connecting with the Bhagavan all the time throughout the world, throughout this life, then only that thought of Bhagavan comes to our mind in the end. That's why devotion or bhakti is very important. So Bhagavan Krishna is telling that one who know me as the all the elements, as all the gods, or as all the sacrifices, They know me even at the time of death, and they are steadfast in mind. So that is the 30th shloka of this chapter 7. This chapter 7 has a 30 shlokas, and it's a very deep chapter. And you might have noticed that Sri Arjuna didn't interfere Bhagavan in this chapter with his questions at all. He didn't disturb Bhagavan. And Bhagavan gave this very beautiful discourse about jnana and vijnana. The nama of this chapter is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. And in the beginning itself, the advice of Bhagavan Krishna, that's the first shloka of this chapter. And he said that one who take refuge in me, I make him clear the jnana and the realization. I give him realization also. And Bhagavan Krishna said that he explained the apara prakriti, that is the 8 divisions of prakriti, and he said, this is my apara nature, but my para nature is supreme than this, no one knows about it. Combining these two, that is the para prakriti and the apara prakriti, that is the womb, or from that only all the beings came forth. And there is nothing else higher or supreme than my para prakriti, Bhagavan said. And he gave some few examples that how he is the internal part of all the objects. And Bhagavan Krishna said that one who is deluded or one who doesn't connect with me always, they are deluded by my Maya. They think that the Maya is reality, but one cannot cross over this Maya without taking refuge in me. And the people who take refuge in me, I make them understand the Maya. But all the others, they think that this Maya or this world itself is the reality. And this Maya is made of 3 gunas. And Bhagavan Krishna said that there are 4 types of bhaktas. There is the people who come to me in distress, the people who come to me when they want something more in life, or the people won't have the anxiety to know me, or the people who are jnanis, they come to me. But among them, the jnani is very dear to me because he has established me in his self, and he worshiped me as his self. He doesn't separate me as worshipping in a different form. He worshiped me as his self, so I am not separate from that person, a jnani. And the jnani is also not separate from me, so he is dear to me. And given that jnani, after a long time, after many janmas and practicing continuously this yoga, he will realize that Vasudevam Sarvamidam. He understands that everything is Bhagavan and he will attain me. And people, because of their desires, the wisdom is veiled by their desires. So they go to different forms of worship and the different ways of worship. But even then, to make their faith stronger, more strong, I give them the result through that form. Actually, it is me who is ordaining the result or benefits for that bhakta, but through that form. And the problem with that limited form, or that finite form of worship, or that finite way of understanding Bhagavan is, in the end, we will merge only with that finite form. But if we understand, or if we worship the Nirguna Brahman, if we understand the Para Prakriti of Bhagavan, and if we connect with it, then in the end we will merge in that infinite form. And he said in the last few shlokas that how his para nature is. It is imperishable, unborn, and the people who doesn't know about it, they think that I am manifest, but actually I am avyakta, unmanifest. And for the people who connect with me, I make this point clear. For others, they think that my uh, Maya itself is real. And Bhagavan says that he knows all the beings, past, present, and future. And because of our desires, the dualities arise in our mind. And when all our papa karmas fade away, this dualities also will be removed from our mind. Then we will have steadfast devotion towards Bhagavan. And one who understands Bhagavan as all these elements, all this creation, and all the yajnas and all the devatas, when we understand Bhagavan like that, then in the end, because of that constant and regular practice, that thought of Bhagavan or that form of Bhagavan or that tattva of Bhagavan come to our mind, and we will merge with that infinite form of Bhagavan or that Nirguna Brahman or that para prakriti or that infinity, and we become that infinity, so that of the walls around our individual consciousness, that's the time it break away. It just breaks away, and we merge with this infinity. So that is the seventh chapter, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, seventh discourse of Bhagavan. And this chapter is also named as Vijnana Yoga by some acharyas, Jnana Yoga. So anyway, it's combination of the Jnana and Vijnana, which Bhagavan gave very clear explanation in this chapter. And the next chapter, chapter 8, is also the continuation of this concept. So I will continue the next chapter in my next video. This is chapter 8. ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगो नाम सप्तमोऽध्यायः। यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णः यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयोर्भूति ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम। ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। हरे कृष्ण।